Good evening, folks. Welcome to a recap edition of Curveball Convos with your boys at Carolina Curveball. Tonight is myself, Braxton Bottorff, and the man himself, Reed, the weatherman Tobin. Reed had a great weekend this weekend, watching baseball, watching golf. Braxton, same for you as well. Braxton, start with you first. What are your biggest takeaways from the weekend, whether your personal weekend, the Masters, or college baseball?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. The Masters was a good ending. Shout out to Rory, back to back, historic. I didn't think he could do it. I thought he was going to choke, but he ended up getting it done. So credit to him. But on the ball field, I mean, just a lot of good action. I watched a lot of the UNC Clemson series. That was a really good series. We'll get into that plenty, but it's good to see North Carolina and Coastal kind of getting some national love. North Carolina up to third in the polls. I think Coastal's seventh. So both top 10. Really good to see our top two teams getting some national love as well, and then obviously a lot more good teams right behind them too. So, but nonetheless, a great weekend.
Reed Tobin, how's it going, pal?
Doing well. I think Braxton says it well. There was a lot of good ball on this week, some surprising results. I think the biggest takeaway for me, though, was Wofford and Western Carolina, which we'll get into here in a little bit.
Without a doubt, Braxton, if you want to go ahead and pull up the Sunday scoreboard for those watching. This is our Sunday scoreboard for those listening. I'll read them off to you. What's up?
You want to go ahead and start with the two that wrapped up on Saturday?
Correct. Yes. I was about to read those out. Yes. South Carolina sweeps Missouri and is now one game back from defending national champions LSU. LSU 6-9 in the SEC. Reed, South Carolina sitting there at 5-10 in the SEC. Sweep over Missouri. Missouri falls to 3-12 in the conference. Reed, are we looking at a run to the championship for South Carolina here?
I don't know about that. You pump the brakes a little bit on that. But I mean, South Carolina fans have to be relieved, though. Finally win a series. In SEC play, I know Missouri's not that good, but to go down there and sweep them, that's a good result for South Carolina. I believe I saw something too that Monty Lee already has 5 SEC wins, and Maneri had 6 in it, and Maneri only had 5, I believe, in his 1.5 years there.
Good Lord. That is just, I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you. Holy smokes.
But yeah, I mean, the South Carolina pitching staff, though, this weekend was fantastic. Am Phillips, he's really been about the only bright spot for South Carolina this season. He was excellent again for them, too. Brandon Stone pitched well, too. And then Connor Ciccoli, too, as well, had a good outing.
Correct. Ant Phillips went 8 innings, 10 Ks, 0 earned, 5 hits in the win. Connor Ciccoli, as Reed said, 4 2/3, 7 Ks, 0 earned, 2 hits.
That was Ciccoli was across 3 appearances, so they just kept going back to him. I think on a couple of occasions, twice against Missouri, and then in the midweek against Charleston as well.
Correct. This is big. This is big for them, in my opinion. Looking forward to seeing what they do. Reed, they play Davidson at home tomorrow, and
then Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. They're kind of reeling right now. So they might catch them at a good. This might be a good time to catch them. We talked about it
swept last weekend, correct?
I think
swept at home. Yeah, they got swept by Tennessee this past weekend at home, and then the weekend before, I believe they lost the series to Georgia. Yep. I believe.
SEC just cannibalizes itself.
Yeah, so I mean, this might be a good opportunity here for South Carolina coming up this weekend with the way Mississippi State's been playing.
Washington State sweeps Gardner-Webb at home. Tough trip for the Bulldogs going up to the corner of the country, Washington State. But Braxton, we did have some guys that had some highlight performances. Merrick Carter, 7 for 7. 6 RBIs, 5 runs scored, 2 home runs, as well as Kelvin Augusto, 7 for 16, 3 RBIs, a home run, and 2 doubles. Tough for sure, Braxton, but I mean, I think it's tough to go out there and win, no matter who you are. And they face a red-hot Queens team tomorrow.
Yeah, like you said, tough trip. I mean, I thought they could have handled Wazoo, to be honest. I thought they could maybe go out there and win that series, but that it wasn't to be. I think for them, they just need to focus on Big South play. Coming back home, getting back into league play because they need to get a spot in that tournament. They got to find a way into that tournament to go to Asheville and play it when it matters. So yeah, but like you said, Merrick Carter, Kelvin Agosto, both have been really good bats for them all year long. So good to see Merrick Carter finally get on the honor roll.
That's right. And read back to other play in the Sun Belt. Coastal Carolina takes the series versus Arkansas State. They do not get the sweep Reed as Arkansas State wins the final game. And Reed, is it time to hit the panic button now that Coastal has lost 2 games in Sun Belt and has a 4-game lead in Sun Belt? Are they reeling?
No, they are not. They're anything but reeling. They continue to trend upward. That was a hard-fought series, though, for them. I mean, Friday night, they were down big in that game and, rallied in the 9th inning to come back and win that. Luke Jones had a good pitch well. Barthel had a big game, too, on Friday to mount that comeback. They're not always going to sweep every single team. I think we've just been accustomed to it over this past year and a half where they just dominate that conference, but we're 1 week closer to Cam Flukie. Chanel said that Flukie's been targeting to come back in week 11. They get him back. I mean, this Coastal team's only going to get better. And then, Maison's going to be back too at some point. I don't think they did say Hayden Johnson won't pitch this season, which is a huge blow. We all obviously already know about Carbone, but, they got Lynch back too. He's starting to pitch more. But, once they get Flukie back with the experience that Luke Jones and Ross Norman and all those other guys have gotten in their absence, they are going to be a dangerous out come June.
Appleman, is it Appleman?
Yeah.
He's been stepping up.
Jackson Appleman. He's been really good for them.
Yeah, he pitched very well on Tuesday too, but I will say Tuesday when I was there in Durham for the Wake Forest game, when I saw Ryan Lynch run down there in the 8th inning to warm up in the bullpen of a 2-1 game versus Wake Forest up, I mean, and then he came in when they were up 4-3 on Saturday versus Arkansas State, and I was like, oh, this game's over. And it was. Both games over when Coastal has the lead in the 9th inning and Ryan Lynch comes on the mound. I mean, you can honestly chalk it up that it's over.
Yeah, he's getting better by the start. His first few starts back, he was roughed up a little bit. I think he was just shaking off that rust, though. But like you said, he was great against Wake, and then obviously shutting the door down this weekend against Arkansas State, too. A good Arkansas State team that we've seen already pick off Southern Miss, too, this year. So and beat Arkansas at home, too, in the midweek.
Correct. Northern Kentucky defeats UNCG. Northern Kentucky wins the first one, 14-8. G then wins the second one, 17-6. Some football scores here, some UFL football scores. If you see watching UFL, the scores are ridiculous. And then North Kentucky takes the last one, 4-3. Disappointing here for UNCG. UNCG now falls to 15-21. This was not a SoCon game. I don't think the SoCon teams play any SoCon games. I mean, good Lord. I feel like 4 teams every week from the SoCon are not playing a SoCon team. It's ridiculous. I feel like every single week. But tough break there for Citadel. But one of the biggest series of the weekend, Braxton, UNC and Clemson. And on the Clemson side, first, Braxton, Aiden Knacht finally looked like himself for the first time in a while and got the dub for them. So big way to start. And then Saturday – was it Saturday with the massively long game?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
another 14-inning game for the Heels. They had one against Campbell, of course. And, first on Connect, he probably had his best outing of the season. Gave up a couple runs, but was sharp, struck out 9 guys. Carolina just couldn't hit him. So they just took it to Carolina game 1. I mean, you got to give them credit. I thought it was going to be their series to take at that point, possibly with 2 games left, but mean, Saturday could have gone either way, but you got to give credit again to the freshman, Caden Glauber. He comes in. I mean, it was a hard-fought battle through 9 innings. Then you give the ball off to Glauber, and he goes 6 scoreless to basically just hold the line there and allow your offense to eventually scratch a couple runs across. I think Tyler Howe had a squeeze that brought in a run there in the 14th. So freshman at the plate with a squeeze to win the game, and then freshman on the mound on the other side to win the game on the mound for you. I mean, that's 2 true freshmen winning a huge game for Carolina. I mean, it just goes to show how deep they really are. And then on Sunday, they just brought the bats out and absolutely hit. So huge series win on the road. And there were some crazy stats about this series. Carolina and Clemson, the team on the road has not even won a game in this series. And obviously they don't play every year, but since 2012, when Carolina went to Clemson, I believe, and swept them in that series. So, it's tough to win on the road. We talk about it all the time, especially when you have 2, really good programs like Carolina and Clemson that play really well at home and with good environments, good fans. So, it was a good series, but ultimately Carolina came out on top, and they were just a better team there at the end. So, what do you got on it, Reed?
Yeah, you make good points, but I mean, Clemson was 1 pitch away from winning that series on Saturday. They're in the 10th inning. It was a 3-0 count, bases loaded. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, this was going to be a great series win for Clemson. They had all the momentum. The crowd was up on their feet, making it loud and tough to play. And then he gets a ground out to the catcher. And then, Winslow booted that throw, didn't make the best throw. But then, he gets the next batter out. And then Carolina goes on to win in 14 innings and then just beats him pretty handily yesterday. But yeah, I mean, the Carolina bullpen continues to impress me. I think it's one of the best bullpens in the country. And, this is a real missed chance here for Clemson, a team that's right now firmly on the bubble, probably looking on the outside end to the NCAA tournament now at 4-10 in the conference too. Huge missed opportunity this weekend.
Yes.
Clemson, I don't mean quick read, but Clemson 5-10 in the ACC.
5-10, yeah.
It's above one team, Cal.
Yeah.
Reed, I think you can say right now they're off the bubble. I mean, Reed, you cannot be at the bottom of your conference and be, unless you're in the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're – I mean, their RPI is not in a good spot too right now. They're going to have to win some series, if they want to get off this bubble right here.
Also, a guy we didn't mention was Owen Hull. I mean, he was absolutely huge in that Saturday game, or was it Sunday game? He had 5 hits, 5 RBIs. Yeah. I mean, he's really just been tremendous in the middle of that lineup.
UNC moves to 13-5 in the conference, 36-1 overall. They're 36-1. That was it.
Oh yeah, it sounded like you were saying 36-1, not
38. No. 36. That damn one. And this all sets up for a collision course versus Georgia Tech, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Huge
Georgia
series this weekend.
Reed, trivia. How many games straight has Georgia Tech won? 12. Good job. You win a Hershey kiss.
Awesome. We'll have more about that on Thursday. I mean, after the polls though today, Georgia Tech 2, Carolina 3. First top 5 game series in Chapel Hill since 2017 when they played Clemson.
That is wild indeed. Back to the Sun Belt, App State series win over UL Monroe. This is a nice series win for them. UL Monroe is 8-7 in the conference, 20-17 overall. App State is sitting at 7-8. Braxton, you have such a logjam in the middle here. We've said it for weeks, and it continues to just happen. You got 6 teams at 8-7. Then you got 3 teams at 7-8, right there in the middle of the Sun Belt, Braxton. I mean, it's there for. I think second place is there for the taking. I don't think no one's going to catch Coastal at 13-2 overall. But if for seeding in the conference tournament, anything is on the table for teams like App State.
Yeah, seeding in this tournament is absolutely crucial. I mean, you don't want to run into Coastal early. You don't want to run into Southern Miss early. I mean, especially with the arms that they have. But App's just kind of going about their business. I like the way they've been playing. They've just been getting these series wins in league play. I do have a couple guys on the honor roll for them. Steven Smith, 8 for 14 with 2 homers, a double, 8 RBIs, and then Charlie Evans, He hit 3 triples on the weekend as well as 2 doubles, 9 for 16. So really good to see their offense kind of rolling because we know they have some stud pitchers as well. And like I said, they've just kind of been quietly going about the season, the Sun Belt play, and they're sitting at 7 and 8 and a chance to just continue to climb if they keep winning series like this.
Reed, UNC Wilmington takes the first game versus Campbell, and we're all thinking, oh boy, does UNCW have it back, winning on a Friday night? But then Campbell goes on to win the next 2, 7-3 and 7-5. Reed, they just continue to keep on winning, and the roller coaster of a season for UNCW continues. I think this really hurts them in terms of winning the CAA, because Campbell now sits at 16-2. Wilmington in second place in the South at 9-6. Monmouth is 14-4 in the North, so they're technically second. And then Northeastern at 10-5. But Reed, when Wilmington won that game, I'm pretty sure that was my bold prediction, if I'm not mistaken, Wilmington beating Campbell. And I was feeling pretty good on Friday night, Reed.
Yeah, they got off to a good start. Trey Winfield out of the bullpen for Wilmington was lights out. I believe he went like 4 1/3 and had 9 strikeouts to shut down that hot Campbell lineup. But then, Campbell responded on the weekend like they have David Rosso, or if I'm saying that right, correction. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was sensational like he's been all season. I believe he had 11 strikeouts. And then, yesterday, Wilmington jumped out early, had the early lead too. They roughed up Mason Smith. They made a change. And then, Zach Sabres came in and shut that Wilmington lineup down for a really impressive series weekend. Do they play again later this year?
Yeah.
They do?
They'll play again in Wilmington.
At Wilmington. Yeah, so, I mean – 2 really good teams battling it out in the CAA. But right now it's Campbell's to lose. Monmouth has been a surprise, but right now, I mean, it's Campbell's to lose, I would say.
Yeah. Another thing to watch in the CAA is I think the tournament is being played in Wilmington, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it was Charleston last year.
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now.
The other thing I want to say is just on Campbell real quick, let's think back to a couple years ago or even last year, when they moved from the Big South to the CAA, I think we all kind of anticipated that they would struggle a little bit at first, and they certainly did. They didn't hit the ground running. But I mean, you look now and they're 16-2 in this league. I mean, it's just unheard of what they've done to turn it around this year pretty quickly. I mean, they have had a bit of a weaker conference schedule with playing, William and Mary twice. They had Towson. I think they'll play A&T twice. Charleston, who's having a down year, they'll play them twice, and then Wilmington. So, maybe it's a bit of a softer schedule in the conference, but I'm just really impressed with how they've managed the conference schedule this year. And I mean, 16-2 in the conference is, especially in one like the CAA, is impressive.
How about this? This is interesting. The conference tournament is at Brooks Field, which is Wilmington's home field.
Correct.
Listen to this. The conference tournament is May 20th to May 23rd. Campbell plays at Wilmington May 14th through the 16th.
Yeah.
I would assume, per the CAA travel budget and stuff, Campbell's going to be there for 2 weeks.
Maybe they may want to come back. I mean, it's not too far.
Yeah.
I think they would probably stay. But, I mean, they're probably going to play 4 times in a span of a week.
Yeah, and they've already played.
They've already played 3 times
in the regular season. They're going to play. I mean, I would assume that these two are going to meet each other in the tournament at some point.
Yes.
So they're going to be used to playing each other. And I think every game was really good. So it's just going to be battle for the CAA. And I think, like you said, Monmouth's a bit of a surprise. Northeastern's going to be, a tough out, but I think this is going to be Campbell's league this year. I mean, we look how well they've played, and they've even showed it against the likes of Carolina. They beat Coastal. This is a good ball club.
Also, looking at Wilmington's schedule right now, I'm going to read off their midweek games. They have Carolina tomorrow, Coastal the next week, High Point the next week, and then Carolina again. I mean, these midweeks too. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Granted, you have A&T, Elon, and College Charleston and Hofstra sandwiched on the weekend, so that's not bad. You can hopefully pick up. You should pick up some wins there. You should win. You should win every series here on out. But the midweeks are tough for sure. But kind of like you said, it's going to be interesting having Campbell. Also, I mean, this is my tidbit. I don't think we should be playing the same team twice in 2026, and it is just salt on the wound, knowing that we can't even watch them because it's on Flow Sports. By the end of the regular season, Campbell Wilmington will have played 6 games, and we've watched 0.
Yeah.
That is just some absolute bullshit. Isn't that right, Tobin?
Yeah, and see, Flow Sports is the absolute worst. It's a crime to what they do as sport, with the prices they charge.
We are not getting a Flow Sports deal. I can tell you that right now in our
no, I mean, to Braxton's point and your point, Kason, I fully expect they'll be on a collision course to face in Wilmington in the tournament.
To move it to the Big South, USC Upstate defeats Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern kind of on a bit of a skid, but excuse me, they're still sitting at 6-6 in the conference. Upstate at 8-7, High Point 9-3, and Winthrop. We'll get to them in a little bit. But Braxton Upstate also had the Player of the Week. Good week for Upstate, beating rival Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how they played. I mean, they took it to them offensively the first 2 days. I knew that Charleston Southern's offense would come around, especially as you get deeper into the, kind of the back end pitchers for Upstate. So they get their game on Sunday, but I was kind of hoping Upstate would be able to sweep and just kind of overpower them offensively. But like you said, they hit the ball well. Wiley Waters was our Player of the Week, the first baseman for Upstate. He had a great stat line. Let me find it here. He went 7 for 15, 10 RBIs, 3 homers, a triple, and a double. So 5 extra base hits. Preston Lucas as well had a very good week. He has actually moved to the outfield with Tyler Lang doing most of the catching. So he went 8 for 14, 6 RBIs, 2 homers, also a triple and a double. So, yeah, for Upstate, I mean, like you said, you're 19-18, 8-7 in the league, so you're a touch over 500. You just got to keep on. This is a series you had to win, especially at home. And I just think you got to get hot here in the next month or so because you're going to have to win that tournament. You did it last season, and you got to, now you're the hunted, kind of like we talked about with Coastal. This time within league play, you're the hunted instead of the hunting. So, there's a target on your back. Everyone's going to give you your best game. And, like we've talked about all year, it's kind of a 3-headed race between Winthrop, High Point, and Upstate. And those are 1, 2, 3 right now in the Big South. So,
correct. Rice sweeps Charlotte. Reed Tobin. I don't know what's going on. Charlotte, they've now lost 7 straight. They are now 18-17 and last the American. Unfortunately, the wheels, I don't know, Reed, if they have fallen off. But I mean, at 3-9, and basically, I would say mid-April, I'd say. Not looking too ideal for the 49ers, Reed. But Rice sitting at 7-5, tied for second in the conference. I said on the show last week, Rice is an improved team. But I did not think they would go – what?
David Pierce.
Shout out. I did not think that Rice would go there and sweep them.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I didn't see this coming. But, Rice has really been the surprise of the American. I mean, they have been dismal over the past few years. To go down to Charlotte, though, and take care of business. But, yeah, I mean, all things right now are just not going right for Charlotte. Like you said, Kaysen, they've lost 7 in a row. And they're currently sitting in last place. They just failed to get the clutch hits this weekend. Spencer Nolan on Saturday went 4 for 4 too. But they left a lot of runners on base. They pitched well enough to win some of those series this weekend. The pitching was a lot better than it was in Greenville the weekend before. But, you wonder if that collapse last Saturday at ECU is playing a factor, if that just carried on, with their performance last Sunday and then into this week too. They need a win badly. and the schedule doesn't get any easier for them. They've got Clemson tomorrow down here in Charlotte.
It doesn't get any easier, but Braxton, the opportunities are there. So we'll see what they do. But Braxton, on the other side of cold, Wofford. I mean, one of the hottest teams in Carolina now. Braxton, they're first in the SoCon now at 8-1 overall, 25-11. Braxton, that is the third best win percentage in the Carolinas, as you told us yesterday. Can't say enough good things about the Terriers.
Yeah, third best winning percentage just behind Coastal and Carolina. So I think it's about time we get them in the rankings. You know, they've had kind of a lower RPI and trick the schedule all season, but this is that trademark series win we were looking for them to get, and it's a sweep against Citadel. So, yeah, credit to them. Their pitcher of the week, Alex Bouchard, he's been phenomenal all year for them on the mound. He goes 7 strong again, gets 12 strikeouts against the Citadel. So, yeah, welcome to the rankings, Wofford.
It's good to get them back to their winning ways. Our first year, they were phenomenal. They were in the Chapel Hill Regional and gave LSU all they could handle. So that was a phenomenal game. Then LSU goes and rips them in the portal. I think they took 2 guys from that team. So
at least one.
Yeah, I believe it was Georgia too. Georgia took half the roster too.
Yeah, I've said it multiple times. They were the first team of us to get absolutely ripped. Unfortunate. Yeah. Reed, staying in South Carolina. College of Charleston, Reed, 4-0 week for your Cougars. Played pretty well. And they did pretty well. Then, Braxton, I'll get to you to touch on the A&T highlight.
Yeah, best week of the season for the Cougars. Obviously with the midweek win against South Carolina. And then, taking care of business this weekend against a struggling A&T team. But, Austin Wingett, he was really good for Charleston. I believe he had 11 strikeouts. I think he went 7 2/3. Parker Sweeney too was really good out of the bullpen for them too. I believe he had 5 strikeouts and 2 2/3. And then Reese Holbrook was great swinging the bat too, and then stealing bases. I think he had 6 or 7 stolen bases this weekend.
That's right. Braxton, A&T highlight, Diego.
Yeah, Diego Barrett out of the pen. I think this is our first A&T honor roll this season, so shout out to the Aggies. But I think he had 3 appearances out of the pen, 6.2 strong innings, no runs, 5 Ks, only giving up 3 hits, 1 in every appearance. So shout out to him. Couple of good outings out of the bullpen for the Aggies.
Shout out. College of Charleston moves to 8-7 in the conference, 1 game behind UNC Wilmington for second in the South, Reed, on a 5-game win streak. So looks to be up for the Cougars, and they have
High Point again.
Upstate.
The A&T. Yeah, they play Upstate. I was thinking of A&T.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, no. A&T plays. A&T's playing at the Rocks. Were they playing there last week?
Yeah, they're playing High Point again, but this game is going to be their home game this time, I believe.
Okay.
Because if you remember, High Point actually walked them off.
Yes.
So now they'll get a chance to, I guess, return the favor as the home team this time. So
Aggies will get their revenge tomorrow. Write it down, folks. Put it in your DraftKings. Davison sweeps the Bonnies. Nice win for Davison. Davison kind of reeling of late. They have now won 6 straight games. They're 9-6 in the conference. Reed St. Joe still sits at 14-1, 23-11 overall. They've won 8 straight. And then sandwiched in between them is VCU, who is historically a good baseball program, at 11-4. And the Bonnies are last. They're 3-12 in the A10, 9-24 overall. But nice weekend for Davidson, Braxton. We have a few guys in the honor roll, correct, sir?
Matt Manjurin is 8 for 17, 7 RBIs, a home, a triple, and 2 doubles. So he hit the ball really well. I think he's a freshman as well. But yeah, like you said, Davidson, good sweep. I think the Bonnies actually choked away a lead late in the game, and Scotty Edwards walks them off in extra innings to get the sweep. So yeah, a couple of Wildcats having good weeks, and like you said, they're sneaky. I think they had a 4-0 week this week as well, and they're sneaking up there. Maybe could get ranked before long if they continue to win. I don't think they've ever been ranked, so that would be cool to see.
That would be pretty cool to see for sure. NC State takes the series versus Duke. Duke does win the last game. This is NC State's first weekend without Jacob Duden. Heath Andrews had a good outing on Saturday, I believe it was. Good. Also, Anderson Nance had a good weekend, I think. Reed, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
Reed, I'll let you touch on that series. Good win for NC State, considering they were missing their top or / best arm.
Yeah, with the news with Duden going out for the season, I really didn't know how State would come out and play. But they handled business, nearly sweeping Duke too this weekend. State's starting to trend back up. Last weekend they sweep Notre Dame to get back on track, and then they take care of business this week too. Cooper Consiglio, he was really good for them too. Rhett Johnson continues to absolutely rake. He's been the freshman sensation in Raleigh. I believe State has Wake Forest, so that's like a middle of the ACC. That's a very interesting series coming up this weekend.
Mikey Ryan too. Been really good for them. 8 for 16, 2 homers, 2 doubles this week. He's been swinging a hot bat.
Didn't Sharp have a big outing one of the days this weekend?
He had a couple of hits. Yeah. He had a really good week last week, I believe. But he's also been really good for them as a player.
He's been lights out for them. William & Mary takes a series versus Elon. Elon having a tough year, moved to 14-21, 6-12 overall. William & Mary 6-9, nice, 14-20 overall. Disappointed for them, but did we have an Elon guy? I think we had an Elon guy.
Yeah, you were off again, man.
Yeah.
It's like I think he's been on 2 or 3 times. He hits like 3 or 4 doubles every week.
Yeah.
So he's the one guy that's really been consistent for them offensively. They're kind of better on the pitching side, but they've had a bit of a rough stretch here. To be honest with you, they've had a rough year. So.
Yeah, I gotta make my way out there sooner or later. I reside in Mebane, North Carolina, which is right next to Burlington, where Elon is. I'm gonna make my way out there shortly. And the shocker of the weekend.
Yeah.
No one had this. Yeah. If you had this, I would have the FBI investigate you. Presbyterian beats Winthrop to give them their first 2 Big South losses of the season. Braxton, if I would have told you a week ago Presbyterian would give Winthrop their first 2 losses of the season, you would have said false. That's just absolutely
incorrect. I mean, I'm definitely surprised by it, but I'm also not that shocked. I think it is tough. Presbyterian has been scrappy in the past. I know they're having a really bad season, but they've kind of been in some games. I mean, they gave Charleston Southern a scare last week. That was we talked about those games, and then this time they follow through and beat Winthrop 2 out of 3. So you got to give credit to the Blue Hose. Was it Emery Guilliford 7 for 11?
Yes.
He had a big week for them. So if you're Winthrop, it's your first 2 losses in the conference, so it's not the end of the world. Still in first, despite losing a series. You just got to find a way to put it behind you because it's gonna get tougher. You still got to play Upstate. They might be playing High Point as well. I mean, that would be.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So a couple of big series coming up if you're Winthrop, but you got to put it behind you. It's it's just baseball. Anything can happen. And it was funny because PC had the lead there late in the rubber match. Then Winthrop took the lead late and then gave it back to PC there at the end. So kind of a back and forth end of the game there. But credit to PC, man.
Reed, do you have any thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm just very surprised. I think Braxton covers it really well. With the way Winthrop's been playing, though, over the past 2 weeks, so I just got to say that High Point is probably the favorite right now with the way they're playing, pitching offensively, too, and they're clicking on all cylinders, which we'll touch on here in a second.
Speaking of touching on all cylinders, pause. Queens gets the series win over Stetson.
How about it?
Queens is no longer last in the Graphite division. Let's give a round of applause
for
the Graphite, folks. Huge for the program there. Queens, they actually had some guys on our honor roll. Annabelle, sorry, fella. Annabelle Riviera for Queens, 6 for 12, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, a home run, and a double. And Matthew Egan, 6 innings, 5 Ks, 0 earned, a hit and a win. Also, Joey Ruler for Queens, 8 innings, 9 Ks, 2 earns. 8 innings, 9 Ks, 2 earned, 8 hits, and a win. This is huge momentum for Queens, in my opinion. Queens now moves to 10-25 on the season. And is that one shy of their win total from last year?
No, they've already beat it. It was 9
already
wins.
beat it?
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them.
Are they at 10 or 11 wins now?
Huh? 10.
Oh, it is 10? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's what it says in the Graphite Division website. So
No, that's correct.
I'm going to roll with that. Longwood defeats UNC Asheville. We've talked about it. Asheville kind of reeling as of late. Asheville 4-8 in the conference. Asheville's 3-7 in their last 10, not doing so well. And we've said before the Virginia team is in the Big South. They're doing pretty well. Longwood 6-6, 21-15. So unfortunate for Asheville, but hey, there's next week. Miami defeats Wake Forest. Reed, were you kind of surprised by this? Miami is at 8-7 in the conference. Wake Forest at 9-9 currently.
No, I mean, this was another one of those middle ACC series that was very pivotal, and for seeding for the ACC tournament. But Miami's been playing really good baseball over the past few weeks. But it was a rough weekend offensively for Wake. Shut out. They scored shut out yesterday, and then they only scored 4 runs the rest of the weekend. And then, not to mention on Tuesday night in Durham, they scored 1 run there. So, the bats went cold this week. They moved Blake Morningstar to the bullpen too. He's been so inconsistent this season. They moved him. He pitched yesterday. Cam Bagwell was really roughed up. Lavonis had his first loss of the season on Friday. Pretty rough week for Wake.
Yeah, losing that close one to Coastal when you had a lot of opportunities to win that game, and then you go travel down to Miami and don't take it. Tough for sure. Next, Braxton.
Yeah, just on Wake real quick. They did struggle on both sides of the ball. Like you mentioned, it's good to see Bagwell kind of move into their rotation, but it is a kind of as a result of some of those other guys struggling, like you say, Reed. So, they just need to bounce back. I think if they get a win tomorrow against Coastal, that would be a huge just kind of spot for them to bounce back. And they're at home at the Couch, so I think they can definitely do that tomorrow. Look for that.
The Couch. Shout out. The Couch.
At home at the Couch.
The Couch.
Shout out. Also, shout out.
Double up on that, Casey.
Huh?
Like you could go to another Coastal Wake game right down the road tomorrow.
They're playing them again tomorrow?
Yeah, at the Couch.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh. I'll pass. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to listen. I'm having a Mediterranean dinner tomorrow. It's going to be delicious.
Very nice.
What y'all know about tzatziki sauce?
Very nice, sir.
Stuff. Speaking of great stuff, Western Carolina, and we were pretty high. West Carolina sweeps Mercer. Excuse me. We were kind of high on Mercer, kind of going into SoCon play, and Western kind of takes care of business. Yeah. Western beat them 10-6 on Friday. Western then beats them 17-9 on Saturday. And then Western finishes the job 5-4 on Sunday in the finale. Western now moves to 6-3 in the conference, 23-14 overall. They're 6-4 in their last 10, and you're kind of looking at Wofford, ETSU, and Western right there at top of the SoCon. And I mean, Reed, Western just continues to stack impressive wins on their resume. And if they can get past Wofford and East Tennessee, and can win the SoCon and can be a 4 seed somewhere in a regional, that's a team you don't want to see.
Yeah, we've touched on that before, but I mean, just a really impressive series sweep against a really good Mercer team that I've been high on all season. I know Mercer's been struggling here since they've hit SoCon play, which is a shock. And then obviously not to mention going out to Corvallis and getting swept. But, Noah Corliss and Jalen Jones were great at the plate all weekend for Western. They've been able to hit the ball all season. And then, they've countered that with really good pitching. all weekend. So really impressive. I think if I had to give a team of the weekend, I would give it to Western. Bouncing back after Upstate really took it to them on Tuesday night, and I believe they are now a game back from Wofford.
Two games.
Two games back. So that's a huge series that will loom later in the year. But very impressive for Western.
Braxton, do you have anything on the Catamounts?
Yeah, I mean, I've been high on Catamounts all year. I anticipated to win this series, but to get the sweep is just really impressive. And the only kryptonite they have right now is Upstate. I mean, you mentioned they lose to them in the midweek. They lose to them both times, but that's behind you. Just continue to kind of dominate in SoCon play, and you're going to be just fine if you're Western. And I can see them winning that tournament, like you guys say. I mean, I've said it all year. I can see them playing the regional, and I'm really kind of hoping that happens. Yeah,
I agree. Tulane defeats East Carolina in New Orleans. Really unfortunate for the Pirates. Pirates had a couple opportunities to take the series, just could not capitalize. But the biggest concern is Grady Linehan left the game yesterday with a shoulder injury. He popped his shoulder out. They did pop it back in. Unsure his timeline. I did not listen to Cliff Godwin speak today. I did not talk to Stephen Igo today, so I'm unsure about that. But just really unfortunate for the Pirates. They've had so many opportunities to take care of business. The one highlight is Michael Kalinic. He did have a grand slam on Saturday. That was quite impressive. When he comes in, he hits home runs. The defense behind the plate, I would say, is not too consistent. Walker Barron was a late game scratch due to sickness. Then he plays yesterday. Then Kalinic DHs. So I don't know what the Pirates have going on. Ethan Norby does not have his best stuff to start out. It kind of takes him one to three innings to figure it out. But then when he does, they sometimes figure it out, or they sometimes do not. Read.
Yeah, another disappointing weekend. It was just really frustrating watching some of the decisions that were made too by Cliff this weekend. Especially on Saturday too. Not letting Norby finish that seventh inning. And then, that allowed Tulane to tie the game back up. Thankfully they were able to score some runs there in the eighth inning. But, yesterday they just, besides the 3-hole in the lineup with Linehan starting the game 2 for 2, and then Sabatier coming in and going 2 for 2. I think the rest of the lineup was 1 for 26. The offense has had moments all season, but when they go cold, it's an effect on the whole team, and it's really frustrating to watch. And then, Luke Payton, too, I thought he pitched well enough for us to win, too, on Friday night, too. We just couldn't get any timely hits in that as well.
Braxton?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say. I think Reed mentions it, they just can't seem to beat Tulane when they play them, especially on the road. It's just kind of their bogey
2018 is the last time.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is. You've got to get healthy if you're East Carolina. I mean, to see Linehan go down with the year he's having, it sucks, but hopefully it's nothing too serious, as you guys mentioned. So, I don't know. I look for them to really – I mean, tomorrow's huge, I think, for ECU. I think if you beat State tomorrow, you just kind of solidify yourself again, as a team that can beat – your RPI and strength of schedule look great still, despite having – not the greatest success in conference play thus far, especially on the road. I think they've been a lot better at home. You mentioned that win streak that was all at home. So you get to go back home tomorrow and play at home against a good State squad and can get a good win because the crowd's going to be behind them tomorrow. So we'll see, man. I just think it's important. Most important thing for them is to get healthy before May rolls around.
They've got a chance here. 7 out of their next 8 games are at home. So, huge opportunity for the Pirates here over the next 2 weeks to really stack some wins up.
They just can't beat Tulane. They're 2-7 in their last 3 series.
Yeah.
Better hope they don't run into them in Clearwater.
Well, they beat them last year in championship to go to.
That is true.
So they can beat them. They can beat them outside of New Orleans. They just can't beat them in there. Yeah. To wrap it up, High Point defeats Radford. Radford won the first game of the series. Yeah. Don't know if the panic button was pushed. They won 7-6. High Point responds. Reed, are you moving bricks in your office? High Point then wins the second game 6-2. High Point wins the last one 4-1.
That game was on ESPN2, by the way.
Shout
Shout out.
I think it came on kind of later because I think the Carolina game was on, and then that one ended kind of late, and then they switched over to High Point. I think it was also alumni weekend up there, so shout out to our guy Adam Stewart.
Shout out.
I'm sure he was having a great time out there in right center. Looks like the beers were flowing. So
You can bring cases out there.
yeah, I actually remember I played a showcase tournament there, and there was dudes out there in right field drinking and watching the baseball. Like, just it was kind of crazy. But I've seen them. I've also played a college series there, and there's that you can kind of bring your own cooler and stuff out there, which is pretty cool.
That's the most High Point thing of all time, by the way. I mean, that just fits the bill for sure.
They're on a roll though, man. They move up our rankings a couple slots. They look really good. Like Reed said, they're probably the favorite, but they've got to take care of business when it comes down to it in the Big South if they want to play.
Their RPI too just continues to rise too. I believe they're into the top 50 RPI nationally too as well.
High Point 8-2 in their last 10, 9-3 in the Big South. Winthrop sitting at 7-2 right above them. So that'll do it for the weekend recap. Crazy things happened in our big curveball pick'em that we do. Whole lot of red in our curveball pick'em. It was very tough to pick. I know that on I only picked 4 of my series correct, which is a career low for me.
In the regular pick'em too.
Yeah, I went over 5 in the regular pick'em, but hey, you know what? I'm probably fine with that because sometimes people got to be out on sometimes you got to stand on the island. Yeah. And that was me. And then that was me because hey, we would have had literally everyone winning the same thing. So
yeah, if there's allocation, he's gonna pick the team that the public doesn't. Like I would say that about Vermeley. He always goes against the grain, and I appreciate that about him.
Of course, because if I would have gone with Campbell, Upstate, and College Charleston, all 3 of them would have lost that series. I just want to make that known. So, Campbell fans, you're welcome. Upstate fans, you're welcome, and College Charleston fans, you're welcome because we would have just chalked it up. So, yeah. Major weekend takeaways. We kind of discussed them. I think the biggest one for me is Western Carolina defeating Mercer, kind of inching up close to Wofford, and also you could say Wofford. I think the top of the SoCon is really good. Same at the top of the Big South. Say the same at the top of the CAA too. But Reed, your biggest takeaway from the weekend before we move on to the midweek.
Yeah, I already touched on Western, but I got to say it's probably Winthrop dropping the series to Presbyterian. I think just the way Presbyterian had been playing all season, I think that just really shocked everyone this weekend to go take that series.
Braxton?
I'm going to say Campbell. I think them just being able to bounce back, especially after dropping, was it game 1? There was kind of some questions, maybe W can get them here. But we said before the weekend, if Campbell wins this series or sweeps the series, then it's their league to take. And then here we are. They're 16-2, and they're completely in the driver's seat. And, I mean, they've just had an incredible run since they started CAA play. So I'm just really impressed with them. And they answer the call here against Wilmington. So.
And we have a big midweek slate coming up. And we only have, wow, this is crazy. We only have 1 non-Carolina team in the midweek slate. And I'll give you one guess who it is. I'll give you one guess. I bet you know who it is, Reed. Reed, we have 1 non-Carolina team in the midweek.
Before I share the screen.
Is Queens playing at some SEC school?
No.
That's a good guess.
That's a good Brax, don't show them. This Reed, they're a regular. I made jokes on the show about adding them.
God, who was it that played Northern Illinois?
No, it's not it's a team near the Carolinas, but not in the Carolinas.
God, who was? I can't remember who it was. Who's
Liberty.
the team? Liberty.
They're in our midweek pick them every single week.
And Liberty is really good right now. They just beat Jacksonville State this weekend. They're borderline a top 25 team.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I mean, yeah.
They can do against Duke tomorrow.
Yeah.
App State at Western Carolina to start off. That is a banger to start off. Presbyterian at Wofford at 5:30, ESPN Plus. Coastal Carolina at Wake Forest, the rematch of last week at Duck Couch. Also, Braxton, I don't want to go because Charlotte Hornets play in.
Right.
Go Hornets! Big game tomorrow. All right. Back to baseball. Wilmington, but be sure to cheer on Con Knipple info for Rookie of the Year, not Cooper Flag. UNC Wilmington at North Carolina at 6 p.m. ACC Network Extra. Liberty at Duke 6 p.m. NC State at East Carolina, the big one. Wish we were going to that for old time's sake. Queens at Gardner Webb, sneaky good one there. Curious who wins that one. The Citadel at Charleston Southern, 6 p.m. High Point A&T at the Rockers, 6 p.m. Upstate College of Charleston, 6 p.m. Winthrop Elon, 6 p.m. Campbell at G. For those listening, you can't see Campbell playing on ESPN Plus, a rarity, so be sure you tune into the Camels on the Plus. It's a blessing when they do that. And then Clemson,
I'm trying to put the at symbol because it is a Charlotte game.
You're good. Clemson, Charlotte at Truist. I'm glad that game is on TV sometimes and get funky at the minor league park. And then Davidson at South Carolina. Braxton, start off with you. Which one catches your eye the most?
I mean, these are great games. Like you said, just one team that's non-Carolina, so we're going to have a lot of polls tomorrow on the story, so be on the lookout for that. I mean, State ECU is popcorn for sure. Coastal Wake, I mean, those are two I'm going to be locked in on. I'm looking for Campbell to bounce back against G. They get another opportunity. I mean, they lost to G last week in Dewey's Creek. They get to go to Greensboro now and kind of get payback there. Clemson, Charlotte at Truist will be fun to watch. Upstate heading down to Charleston. I mean, there's a number of games I'll have my eye on here tomorrow night. But yeah, if I had to pick an upset, I do like your A&T call actually against High Point. I think that would be interesting. Maybe Queens, if you count that as an upset over Gardner Webb. Maybe Wilmington gives Carolina a game. I mean, Carolina just is really, really good in midweeks. They just don't seem to slip up too much over the last few years. But at some point, right, like one of these teams will probably get them. Like maybe it won't be till Coastal plays them in a couple weeks, but I could see Wilmington giving them trouble.
I agree. Tobin, what do you have your eyes on, sir?
Yeah, ton of great games as y'all both making points. Probably Clemson and Charlotte, just with both teams the way they've been playing over the past month or so. Just two teams really reeling, but two teams that really need a win. So curious to see how that plays out tomorrow night.
I got my eyes on ECU hosting NC State as well as Upstate at College of Charleston. I think that is going to be a really good game. Also looking forward to Campbell at UNCG. If you get to watch Campbell on TV, that is a big one. As Braxton said, be sure to follow us on Instagram so you can pick these games. We have, holy smokes, a lot of stories to pick, and the bug's gone. So we see, Braxton, did you tally up last week's what their record was for the –
Yeah, it should be on there. It should be on there. Do you see it?
Yes, I'm looking at it. Oh, I love this. They went 6-7 last. They went.
I remember putting that down and being like, "Oh boy."
They went 6-7 last week. Instagram followers did.
Last week was just speaking on midweeks. It was a lot of upsets. Like just kind of.
You had UNCG over Campbell.
Yeah.
You had Upstate over Western. I mean, kind of.
Charleston over South Carolina.
Yep, and then the Citadel over Winthrop, and then
just as a whole. Though, last week, just week 9, just a ton of upsets throughout college baseball. Obviously, we talked about from the midweeks, but I mean that carried into this past weekend too as well.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. I love the midweeks. Tomorrow's gonna be a great night of sports. Cannot wait for it. Watch the baseball, watching NBA playoffs as they start tomorrow. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the NBA playoffs. That's my favorite time of the year. I know Braxton loves the NHL playoffs. I love the NBA playoffs as well. Who are they going to lose to this time, Braxton? Or is this the year?
Let me be real here. I think we're going to get to the Cup this year. I have a weird feeling we're going to lose in the Cup, and I hate saying that as a Hurricanes fan. because a lot of people seem to think it's our year. They, as Tobin will say, they think it every year. But you know what? I think this, with Florida not being in it this year, that really helps our cause. But again, I just think that Colorado and Dallas are both a little bit better. So we'll see what happens. The East is not going to be any joke either. I think they're going to play the Senators first, depending on how there's a couple games left. But hey, there would be nothing better than to celebrate a Stanley Cup again in Raleigh. I know you two would enjoy it, despite not really being fans of the Canes as much as some of us are. But hey, you never know. Hopefully it's our year.
Reed, who's your Stanley Cup winner?
The Avalanche. There you go. There's my pick.
Chalk Tobin.
Chalk Tobin. Shocking.
I will not be watching any of that, though.
All right, boys, to wrap up the show on the spot, Reed, bold prediction for tomorrow off the dome.
Off the top, man, throw me on the spot there. I'm gonna go Wake upsets Coastal tomorrow.
I like it.
It's not really a big bold take. I mean, Wake's plenty talented, but I think they get back from last week and split the series with Coastal.
I already spoiled mine. A&T gets its revenge over High Point. They got walked off last week. Diego ain't letting it happen tomorrow.
I mean, he might pitch. He throws every game.
Yes, I know. But
no, I was gonna say A&T and via the walk off. I think they
gotta pick another one.
I'll pick another one. I'll go
Davidson. Davidson's looking at you.
No. I'm not gonna go Davidson.
Presbyterian.
I kind of want to say.
Does Charlotte come back to life?
I want to say Presbyterian stuns.
Oh, Presbyterian at Wofford
wins their third straight game. Newly ranked Wofford just got in the rankings. Now Presbyterian comes on a little midweek Tuesday to Spartanburg and stuns them.
That would be an absolute shocker. Reed, what's the temp check for Charlotte over Clemson?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Me and Reed were talking about we're gonna go to probably this weekend Carolina, Georgia Tech.
It's gonna be a warm day tomorrow in Charlotte. We'll see. If I'm done with the move, I won't rule out going down to Truist tomorrow night.
Oh
yeah. Also, shout out Reed Tobin. Moved into a new house. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. No more closet pods.
Reed, so you're finally letting the people know that you're Reed. You're finally out.
Now that I'm finally out, I can proudly say for the past year and a half I sat in the closet and did the podcast.
Me and Reed, of course. As I was saying, we're gonna go to Carolina, Georgia Tech one game this weekend. Probably gonna do the Sunday game, considering Saturday is at noon.
Hottest day of the year.
Yeah, 90 degrees.
What?
Yeah, 90 degrees in April.
Yeah.
On Saturday. So we elected to go to the Sunday game. So we'll probably be there for the 2 versus 3 matchup. Maybe a rubber match, Reed. That'd be pretty cool.
Actually,
That's certainly the hope.
Actually, I'm not even mad at Susie Reed. I want the warm weather to come. I'm tired of this cold weather, and when the warm weather comes, balls start flying out of.
That is
balls
true.
Start flying. So
mid to late April, you just start seeing nukes.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it. Bring on 95, 100%. Bring on 95, 100% humidity. I want it.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. Tobin, go ahead.
I'm certainly not wanting it, but yeah, I mean, it'll be good to see the offenses start to pick up as the season comes to an end.
Also, Braxton, if you're going on Sunday, Hornets, we playing the Pistons on Sunday.
Let's hope. Let's take care of business tomorrow.
They will. All right, boys. I think that will do it for tonight. Thursday, we will have our preview show. Also, I'll announce it on the next 2 shows. But next weekend, our preview show will be moved to Wednesday due to the NFL draft on Thursday. I would like to watch the NFL draft as well as most of us do because we are very big Panther fans. Reed is a resident Bengal fan. Was a Panthers fan, left us, now Bengals fan. So the Wednesday show will be our preview. Looking forward to that one. Also, pretty sure. I mean, we're just getting Thursday games from that. We're getting so many more Thursday games, so it works out as well as well. Also,
and then
Also-
field of 64.
Yeah.
On our first field of 64
Go ahead, Toby.
will be on Thursday, so be tuned out for that.
Yeah.
Yes. And Braxton, be sure to follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, check out the RPI report we just put out this morning. Pretty cool graphic there. And then obviously rankings came out today. Honor roll came out today. TikTok has been flowing. So follow us everywhere. And then like Reed said, look out for the first field of 64. We'll be working on that after the midweek wraps up Tuesday and Wednesday night. And yeah, that'll come out on Thursday along with our preview show on Thursday. So a lot of stuff this week. Excited to get it all going. And 2 versus 3 next weekend. We'll be previewing that on Thursday as well.
That's a colossal showdown this weekend.
They start Friday, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Friday at 6.
Good.
I may be going to that one too. It's up in the air.
Okay. Well, boys, that will do it. Thank you for a fantastic show. Looking forward to the midweek. We will see you on Thursday. Like I said, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Carolina Curveball. Follow us on TikTok. Braxton does a great job there. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you. Please leave a follow and a like. Same on YouTube. And folks, we will see you on Thursday. Thank you very much.